cancer loves. In other words, if cancer is given these conditions, it thrives. It loves glucose. In fact, cancer cells consume 15 times the glucose of any other cell. Cancer also loves an environment where there's no oxygen. Cancer thrives in an acid environment.
Welcome back to today's episode, where we're diving into a topic that could completely change the way you look at your diet: the foods that cause cancer. You may have heard the saying, "You are what you eat," and according to natural health expert Barbara O'Neill, this is especially true when it comes to your risk for cancer. There are certain foods that are not only unhealthy, but can actually increase your risk of developing cancer. Today, we're uncovering the shocking truth about these foods and why you should eliminate them from your diet immediately to protect your health. Let's jump right in. 1. Processed meats, the hidden cancer risk. First on the list are processed meats, which include things like bacon, sausages, hot dogs, and deli meats. According to Barbara O'Neill, these meats are one of the most dangerous food groups when it comes to cancer risk. The World Health Organization has classified processed meats as a Group 1 carcinogen, which means there is convincing evidence that they cause cancer, particularly colorectal cancer. Processed meats contain nitrates and nitrites, chemicals used as preservatives, which can form carcinogenic compounds called nitrosamines when cooked at high temperatures. These compounds damage the lining of your intestines, increasing your risk of cancer. Barbara recommends avoiding processed meats entirely and opting for healthier, unprocessed alternatives like fresh poultry, fish, or plant-based proteins to reduce your cancer risk. 2. Refined sugar, feeding cancer cells. Refined sugar is increasingly recognized as a major contributor to the cancer epidemic, with Barbara O'Neill shedding light on its detrimental effects. She explains that cancer cells thrive on sugar because when you consume sugar, it's broken down into glucose, which acts as a fuel source for all the cells in your body, including cancer cells. This is why diets high in refined sugar can be particularly harmful, as they provide cancer cells with the energy they need to grow and multiply. Refined sugars are prevalent in many of the foods we consume daily, including sugary snacks, desserts, sodas, and processed foods. The problem lies in the way these sugars are quickly absorbed into the bloodstream, leading to spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels. Insulin, a hormone that regulates blood sugar, plays a significant role in this process. Elevated insulin levels can lead to insulin resistance, where your cells no longer respond effectively to insulin, increasing your risk of developing conditions like obesity and type 2 diabetes, both of which are linked to an increased risk of cancer. One of the primary issues with excessive sugar consumption is its connection to chronic inflammation. High levels of glucose in the body cause oxidative stress and inflammation, which can damage cells and weaken the immune system's ability to fight off cancer cells. This creates a favorable environment for cancer growth, allowing abnormal cells to proliferate unchecked. Studies have shown that people who consume high amounts of sugary beverages are at a higher risk of certain cancers, including breast cancer. The frequent intake of refined sugars may accelerate the progression of existing cancerous cells, making it more difficult for the body to heal. In addition to feeding cancer cells, excessive sugar intake contributes to obesity, another risk factor for cancer. Obesity leads to a state of chronic inflammation and hormonal imbalances that create conditions conducive to cancer development. Fat cells release estrogen, a hormone that, in high levels, has been linked to the development of cancers such as breast, endometrial, and ovarian cancers. Thus, reducing sugar intake not only lowers your risk of obesity, but also diminishes the hormonal and inflammatory pathways that can promote cancer growth. Barbara O'Neill emphasizes the importance of reducing or eliminating refined sugars from your diet as a key step in lowering cancer risk. Replacing sugary snacks and processed foods with whole, nutrient-dense options can drastically improve your overall health and reduce the fuel available to cancer cells. Instead of refined sugars, Barbara suggests using natural sweeteners like honey or maple syrup in moderation. These alternatives, while still containing sugar, are less processed and contain additional nutrients that can help mitigate some of the negative effects of refined sugars. Moreover, a diet rich in whole foods, such as fresh fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains, provides essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that support the body's ability to fight off disease. Whole foods not only help regulate blood sugar levels more effectively, but also promote a healthy immune response, which is crucial in preventing cancer. These foods contain fiber, which slows the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream, preventing the insulin spikes that can promote cancer growth. 3. Artificial sweeteners, a risky substitute. In an effort to avoid the risks associated with sugar, many individuals have turned to artificial sweeteners. However, Barbara O'Neill cautions that replacing sugar with these alternatives can be just as hazardous, if not more so. Several studies, notably those conducted on animal models, have found a connection between cancer and the consumption of artificial sweeteners, such as aspartame, saccharin, and sucralose. One example of a substance that has been associated to an increased risk of developing brain tumors and lymphoma is aspartame. Studies have shown that artificial sweeteners may cause the metabolism of the body to be disrupted and may also modify the bacteria that live in the gut, which may result in obesity and the development of cancer. In addition, these sweeteners have the potential to induce cravings for additional sugary meals, which can result in excessive eating and weight gain. Barbara advises avoiding artificial sweeteners and opting instead for natural alternatives, such as stevia or monk fruit, which do not have the same hazards as artificial sweeteners. 4. Hydrogenated oils, the silent killer in your kitchen, and yet another important food that causes cancer. The topic that Barbara O'Neill emphasizes is hydrogenated oils, which are also referred to as trans fats. Several processed foods, baked products, margarine, and fast food restaurants have these oils in their ingredients. In order to make vegetable oils more solid and to extend their shelf life, hydrogen is added to the oils, which results in the creation of hydrogenated oils. On the other hand, this process results in the production of trans fats, which have been recognized as being associated with an elevated risk of cancer, notably breast and colon cancers. Trans fats are known to not only cause inflammation within the body, but also to disrupt the regular functioning of cells, which ultimately results in the growth of malignant cells. When it comes to cooking and baking, Barbara stresses the significance of avoiding hydrogenated oils and opting instead for healthier fats such as extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, and coconut oil. If you remove trans fats from your diet, you will not only lower your risk of developing cancer, but you will also improve the health of your heart and your overall well-being simultaneously. 5. Grilled and charred meats, the danger of high-heat cooking. This following one might come as a surprise to you if you are a fan of grilling meats and having barbecues. The formation of potentially hazardous substances known as heterocyclic amines, HCAs, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, can occur in meats that have been grilled or charred, according to Barbara O'Neill, when the meats are cooked at high temperatures. It has been demonstrated that these substances are responsible for causing mutations in DNA that can result in cancer, specifically malignancies of the stomach, pancreas, and colorectal cavities. In situations when meat is cooked at high temperatures for extended periods of time, such as when it is grilled, fried, or broiler cooked, the danger is increased. As a result of the fat dripping into the flames, smoke, which is composed of PAHs, rises and causes the meat to become coated. In order to lessen the production of these substances that cause cancer, Barbara recommends employing more moderate cooking techniques such as steaming, boiling, or slow cooking whenever possible. Before grilling meat, you could try marinating it first, as this can minimize the creation of hydrogen carbonates, HCAs, by as much as 90%. 6. Refined carbohydrates, spiking insulin, spiking cancer risk. Refined carbohydrates such as white bread, pasta, pastries, and processed cereals are another food group Barbara O'Neill warns against. These foods cause rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels, which over time lead to insulin resistance. This condition has been linked to an increased risk of several cancers, including breast, prostate, and colon cancers. Refined carbs are quickly digested and have little nutritional value, contributing to weight gain and obesity, both major risk factors for cancer. Barbara recommends replacing refined carbohydrates with whole grains like quinoa, brown rice, and whole wheat bread, which provide fiber and essential nutrients without the cancer-promoting effects. By making this switch, you'll not only lower your cancer risk, but also support a healthy weight and improve digestive health. 7. Microwave popcorn, a chemical cocktail. Microwave popcorn may be a convenient snack, but it's loaded with harmful chemicals that can increase your cancer risk. Barbara O'Neill points out that the bags used for microwave popcorn are often coated with a chemical called perfluorooctanoic acid, PFOA, which has been linked to liver, kidney, and testicular cancers. In addition to the PFOA, microwave popcorn is typically made with artificial butter flavoring that contains diacetyl, a chemical that can cause lung damage and has been associated with an increased risk of cancer when inhaled in large amounts. Barbara recommends making popcorn the old-fashioned way, on the stovetop, with a healthy oil like coconut oil or olive oil. This way, you can enjoy a healthy, whole-grain snack without the added chemicals. 8. Alcohol, a major contributor to cancer. Alcohol is another major contributor to cancer risk, according to Barbara O'Neill. Studies have shown that regular alcohol consumption increases the risk of cancers of the mouth, throat, esophagus, liver, breast, and colon. Alcohol damages DNA and impairs the body's ability to repair cells, leading to the development of cancerous cells. Even moderate drinking can increase cancer risk, particularly in women, where alcohol consumption has been linked to a higher risk of breast cancer. Barbara advises limiting or eliminating alcohol altogether to reduce your cancer risk. If you do choose to drink, moderation is key. Stick to the recommended limit of 1 drink per day for women and 2 drinks per day for men. 9. Farmed fish, contaminated and cancerous. Farmed fish, such as farmed salmon, is often touted as a healthy source of protein, but Barbara O'Neill warns that it can be contaminated with harmful chemicals like PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, and dioxins, both of which are known carcinogens. Farmed fish are often raised in crowded, polluted environments and fed unnatural diets, which leads to the accumulation of these toxins in their flesh. These toxins can accumulate in your body over time and increase your risk of cancer, particularly liver and breast cancers. Barbara suggests opting for wild-caught fish, which is much lower in contaminants and provides a healthier, safer source of omega-3 fatty acids. By choosing wild-caught fish, you'll not only lower your cancer risk, but also reap the benefits of heart-healthy fats and essential nutrients. 10. Dairy products, hormones, and inflammation. Finally, Barbara O'Neill points to dairy products as a potential cancer risk. Many dairy products, especially those from conventionally raised cows, contain synthetic growth hormones like RBGH, recombinant bovine growth hormone, which have been linked to an increased risk of certain cancers, including breast and prostate cancers. Dairy also contributes to inflammation in the body, which can promote the development of cancerous cells. Barbara suggests reducing or eliminating dairy from your diet, especially if it comes from conventionally raised cows. If you choose to consume dairy, opt for organic, hormone-free options, or consider plant-based alternatives like almond milk or coconut milk. There you have it, 10 foods that Barbara O'Neill warns can increase your risk of cancer. By eliminating or reducing these cancer-causing foods from your diet and replacing them with healthier, whole food options, you can significantly lower your cancer risk and protect your long-term health. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear about these cancer-causing foods. Let's take control of our health by making better choices and fueling our bodies with the right foods.